The number one question I get asked in my comments is, Baked, please give me a shout out. And there's a lot of reasons why I don't do that. Let me explain them to you right now in case you're curious. Get the joke. Okay. So honestly, the main reason for me personally that I don't do shout outs is it's a slippery slope. Once you give one person a shout out, everyone else feels that they're entitled to a shout out. I mean, if I give Bob over here a shout out, then his friend Jimmy is going to think, wow, Baked does shout outs. Let me ask him. And before you know it, in a few weeks, I've got 100 DMs a day asking for shout outs, which is just a waste of time. And it's just gonna block out the important messages. I'd rather have real fans communicating with me and important messages from editors, etc. On my attention than 100 people a day asking for a meaningless shout out. Also, this guy's. Oh, I'm gonna lose. Oh, gosh. So for a lot of us, that is the main reason, but there's a lot of other reasons. Don't leave just yet. So for me, the next reason is when you shout someone out, especially someone who you don't know well, it is a risk, okay? If you're telling your fans to go support that person, you are endorsing them. It's a bit like voting for a president. Now, if it turns out that that person is a really bad person, they've done some terrible things in the past, you are gonna be held liable. Say you shout out some guy and you don't really know who he is. You just, he asks for a shout out and you shout him out. And then 2 weeks later, he turns out to be a pedophile racist who has done many illegal things. You're in trouble because now people think you support that person. And that is all because you didn't do the research and you didn't know them very well. Now you could say, well, Baked, why don't you just do the research into the person before you shout them out? Well, because I just simply don't have the time to research everyone who asks for a shout out. So you know what the easy solution is? Just don't give anyone a shout out. So that is what most YouTubers do. That is also a very valid reason in my opinion, to be honest. The next reason people don't give shout outs is because it's a waste of your audience's time. If they're making a community post, then it should be a community post that actually brings some sort of value to them or their brand. If I'm wasting my time on that, I better hope it gives me some sort of benefit or gives my community some sort of benefit, whereas a shout out doesn't. Your viewers are going to start to trust you less, and my fans and every YouTuber's fans just don't care about other people's channels most of the time, so why waste their time with it? I'd rather spend that time to promote a sponsor or promote merch or something which is at least going to benefit me and my fans. And that comes to the last reason of why I don't do shout outs, and that's because I actually do some shout outs, but they are paid shout outs. So why would I do a pre-shout out to someone who I don't know when I can do a paid shout out to another YouTuber who I'm friends with or who needs help getting their channel off the ground? It just doesn't make sense. I could also spend that time to shout out a channel I own, which is kind of also a paid shout out. Like, why shout out someone else when I can shout out one of my own channels, which will benefit me a lot more? Now, that may sound extremely selfish, but at the end of the day, shouting out someone random isn't going to help them anyway, so really it's just a waste of everyone's time. Obviously, these are just random reasons that I've heard from different YouTubers. They're not all my opinions. I think the first one's the most valid one for me personally, but that is a lot of the reasons why your favorite YouTubers won't give you a shout out. If you like the video, watch the next one on your screen. Leave your future comments in the description down below, blah, 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 all this crazy stuff. Bye-bye.